Hi, my name is Frank Vignola, and welcome to Inversion Excursions. In this course, I take you on a journey in exploring your inversions. Hundreds of inversions for all the three chord types, major, minor, and dominant. Not only do we go through all the triads on all the different sets of strings, but we go into extensions, major sevenths, major sixths, major nines, dominant 13, dominant 9, dominant sharp 9, dominant flat 9, augmented, minor, minor sixth, minor 9, minor 11. You get the point. A journey into the world of inversions. Not only do we learn all the inversions, these hundreds of inversions, in a very systematic way, but we apply them. After we learn the inversions, we apply them immediately so you can get used to the sound, so you can get used to the fingerboard, moving all around the fingerboard, knowing where you are, knowing where these inversions are. Very important. Now, why do you need to know this? Well, I remember my first couple of jam sessions, there would be an A minor chord, for instance, an A minor to D7, a very common progression. And I would simply be playing this A minor 7th to D7th. And I'd keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, not knowing any other inversions. So that's when I started to study my inversions. And I realized that, wow, there are hundreds of other choices for an A minor chord than this one chord. For instance, right there, we're 5 or 6. We explore hundreds of possibilities in this course. So now what I'd like to do is put up a jam track and kind of do a before and after look at where I came from, before I started studying inversions and after. All right, let's look at A minor 7 to D7. Now I remember when I first started playing, getting gigs and jam sessions and rehearsals. This was just about as far as I can get with A minor 7 and D7. Sometimes I'd be able to do a little move like that, come up with one or two things like that. But I realized my knowledge of inversions was very limited. So I started studying inversions. And I think it's cool to have the knowledge of all the inversions and how to use them so you can spice up your jams with stuff like this. So that's what Inversion Excursions is all about. Broadening your vocabulary of chord choices and applying them in a musical context. Think how nice it would be to walk into the next jam with a couple of new inversions that you worked out on the A minor 7 to D7, and then applying them and seeing and hearing how the other members of the band react to that in a very positive way, I guarantee. So now let's talk about how we're going to go about learning these inversions. Each set of strings has its own inversion. For instance, a C triad, C, E, G. second, third, and fourth string. The next inversion, and the next inversion, and the next inversion of a simple C triad. We go through these particular inversions on each of the sets of strings. Then, after we do that, we play along with the jam track. We immediately apply what we have learned, which is so important. Application, very important. So we put the jam track on, I talk through it, and show you how I use the inversions, give some rhythmic examples of how to make it sound cool. The next step is for you to play along with the jam track without me, creating your own rhythmic patterns and musical ideas based on these inversions. After you're comfortable with that, then we go on to the next set of strings, the next chord type. For instance, C major 7th. There are so many options. So many options. So we go through the same process. We go through the inversions nice and slow. We learn how to work with the metronome, 4 beats per chord. Then we use the jam track. I give you my ideas, different ideas for how to use those chord forms. And then you go on off on your own. So it's a great way and guaranteed to teach you more inversions by the week. Once a week, if you take one inversion once a week and master that inversion, by the time 52 weeks go by, you know 52 new chords and chord types to bring to the jam. So now let's get started. And remember, have fun. Music is fun.